honourable member for Etobicoke Centre.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague from Durham for his speech. We're both veterans together, and I'm delighted to be serving with him in the House now. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to our government's Economic Action Plan 2013, and I would especially like to thank our Minister of Finance for all of his hard work to present his 8th budget. Since 2006, he has presented budgets that have laid the foundation for creating jobs, growth, and long-term prosperity for hard-working Canadian families. And, Mr. Speaker, he is truly the best and most respected finance minister in the world. When the global recession hit in 2009, our government acted quickly and took decisive steps to ensure our economic recovery, and as a result, Canada created over 950,000 net new jobs since July 2009, which is the strongest job creation record in the entire G7. Both the Independent International Monetary Fund and Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development are projecting that Canada will have among the strongest growth in the G7 in years ahead. Canada has even the lowest overall tax rate on new business investment in the G7. And for the 5th straight year, the World Economic Forum has ranked Canada's banking system the soundest of the world. All the major credit rating agencies have affirmed Canada's rock-solid AAA rating as well. Mr. Speaker, Canada's unemployment rate is at its lowest level in 4 years, and it's significantly lower than that of the U.S., a phenomenon that has not been seen in nearly 3 decades. And what a testament that is to this economic stewardship of this minister and this government. Mr. Speaker, these past 7 years have indeed belonged to Canada. Economic Action Plan 2013 benefits all parts of the country, but I'd like to highlight what this budget has in store for my riding of Etobicoke Centre. Experts have continually pointed out that Canada faces a skills shortage. The Canadian Chamber of Commerce has identified the skills shortage as the #1 obstacle to the success of its members, and our government has acted decisively by taking bold, innovative action and introduced the Canada Job Grant. Now, the Canada Job Grant will transform skills training by providing up to $15,000 per person to help them get the skills they need for in-demand jobs. And $15,000 will be funded from the federal government, up to $5,000, with matching funds from the provinces and the employers making the job offer. Once fully implemented, this grant will help, Mr. Speaker, nearly 130,000 Canadians access training at eligible institutions like community colleges and trade union training centres each year. The Association of Canadian Community Colleges had only praised for this initiative, and I quote, "Federal commitments in Budget 2013 will encourage a reduction in barriers to Canada's economic success while maximizing the talents and advanced skills of Canadians. ACCC congratulates the government for making investments designed to address Canada's skills gap. Budget 2013 acknowledges the role colleges and institutes play in ensuring that Canadian industry is prepared with technology and skilled employees necessary to compete in the global economy." End quote. For the first time, the Canada Job Grant will take skills training choices out of the hands of the government and put them where they belong, Mr. Speaker, in the hands of employees with unfilled jobs and Canadians who want to work. The new grant will result in one essential thing for unemployed or underemployed Canadians: a new and a better job. Another initiative included in the budget that will create jobs is creating opportunities for apprentices. This will support the use of apprentices in federal construction and maintenance contracts in Ontario. Construction season will soon be upon us, Mr. Speaker, and in its full force, and it's encouraging to see that our government has a plan to have apprentices get more hands-on experience. Another component of getting hands-on experience is internships, and supporting more internships for recent post-secondary graduates will invest $70 million, Mr. Speaker, and an additional 5,000 paid internships for recent post-secondary graduates in Ontario and across Canada. Recent graduates have spoken to me, Mr. Speaker, in my riding about this, and our government has listened. Our finance minister has also consulted with high school students. These kids will all be graduates in the next 5 to 6 years, and we are helping to shape the job environment for them today, Mr. Speaker. We're not waiting. In order to fill the skill gap in our country that we face, we need students to undertake education in high-demand fields, including the skilled trades, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The Promoting Education in High-Demand Fields aims to do just that. I'm working hard to help people in my riding look for these opportunities for their future careers. And while it's important to get unemployed Canadians into the workforce, it's just as important to ensure that we support our seniors. They are the ones that help build and make our country great. Mr. Speaker, our seniors have laid the foundations that we all tread upon today. Strong and lasting foundations, Mr. Speaker, and we owe them a debt of gratitude. Since 2006, over $2.7 billion in annual tax relief has been provided to seniors and pensioners, including introducing pension income splitting, increasing the age credit amount by $2,000, doubling the pension income credit to $2,000, increasing GIS recipients can earn through employment without any reduction to their benefits from $500 to $3,500. So a single pensioner, for example, earning $3,500 or more will now be able to keep up to an additional $1,500 in annual benefits. Increasing the age limit for RSP to RIF from 71 to 69. Established the landmark tax-free savings account, which is particularly beneficial for seniors, and introducing largest GIS increase over 25 years, which gave eligible low-income seniors additional benefits of up to $600 for single seniors and $840 for couples, helping more than 680,000 seniors across Canada, and, of course, Mr. Speaker, removing 380,000 seniors from the tax rolls. Mr. Speaker, this government values our seniors, and Etobicoke Centre has one of the highest populations of seniors in Canada. So that's why Economic Action Plan 2013 introduces new measures to improve the quality of life for Canadian seniors. And that includes, Mr. Speaker, expanding tax relief for home care services to include personal care services for those who, due to age, infirmity, or disability, require assistance at home. Better protecting seniors using financial services by working with banks and other financial institutions to ensure that they develop and distribute clear information about powers of attorney and bank services targeted to seniors' needs. And supporting palliative care services by providing the Pallium Foundation of Canada with $3 million over the next 3 years to support training for frontline health care providers, and encouraging the timely implementation of pooled registered pension plan by working with the provinces to expand their availability across Canada. And, of course, assisting in the construction and renovation of accessible community facilities by investing $15 million a year, Mr. Speaker, in Enabling Accessibility Fund. This action builds on our government's strong record of supporting Canada's seniors since taking office in 2006, and I believe that's an enviable record. Economic Action Plan 2013 takes care of our veterans as well, Mr. Seniors. These brave men and women have served our country valiantly and fought to defend the freedoms and the values that we as Canadians believe in. They deserve to be properly recognized, and it pleases me greatly to see that this budget will enhance the funeral and burial program by simplifying it and more than doubling the current funeral services reimbursement rate from $3,600 to $7,376, Mr. Speaker. This will go a long way in helping ease the burden of funeral costs for families of veterans. We have heard these veterans, Mr. Speaker, including those of us in the House with previous service, and I am delighted that this issue has been addressed by our government. This government honors our veterans, Mr. Speaker. I would like to also bring to the attention of this House that Economic Action Plan 2013 includes $8 million in funding for Massey Hall, Venerable Massey Hall, to help support its restoration and revitalization. This is an important cultural institution in the heart of Toronto. Yes, Mr. Speaker. It's an exciting time for Toronto as it gears up to host the Pan Am and Parapan Games in July 2015, and our government has already invested significantly in these games, including renovations in the Etobicoke Olympium in my riding, and I hope to see many youth be inspired by the athletes that attend those games. Our government is making it easier for kids to get active and healthy, and Economic Action Plan 2013 will eliminate tariffs on sporting goods and athletic equipment. By taking this action, Mr. Speaker, our government fully expects the wholesalers and distributors and retailers to pass these savings on to our consumers. I'll just sum up. The $33 billion Building Canada plan launched by our government, Mr. Speaker, supported over 12,000 infrastructure projects across Canada. Economic Action Plan 2013 continues to deliver with new Building Canada plan. This will provide over $53 billion in predictable infrastructure funding for the next 10 years. This is the largest and longest federal investment job in creating infrastructure in Canadian history. I hope that the opposition will support creating jobs, support funding for infrastructure, support our seniors, support our veterans, and support our students and apprentices getting practical hands-on experience. Mr. Speaker, this government is committed to balancing the budget in 2015, and I call on the members of the opposite side to support Economic Action Plan 2013. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'll take
questions and comments. Questions et commentaires. L'honorable député de Louis Hébert.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je remercie mon collègue pour son discours. Un des éléments du budget, c'est l'élimination progressive du crédit d'impôt pour les fonds de travailleurs. Il y a une étude qui vient d'être publiée qui dit que ce que le gouvernement donne d'une main via le crédit d'impôt, il le récupère dans les 3 années suivantes. Donc, ça veut dire, à partir de la 4e année, c'est payant pour le gouvernement fédéral de faire ce crédit d'impôt-là. Alors, j'aimerais savoir de mon collègue pourquoi il est contre une mesure qui crée de l'emploi, de la croissance économique et de la prospérité. Là, Monsieur le Président, je ne la comprends pas, celle-là.
Honourable member for Etobicoke Centre.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I'd almost think that the honourable member crossed over to our side. We, of course, support growth. We support promoting jobs. Okay, on this side. We support promoting jobs. We created over 950,000 jobs in Canada. We've lowered taxes over 150 times, Mr. Speaker. We're lowering the tariffs on the sports equipment and other consumer goods I just talked about. This government is fully committed to jobs and growth in Canada, and we fully support it. And we hope that that members opposite, Mr. Speaker, will listen to us and listen to this budget and embrace it and support the budget and support Canada and its growth.
Questions and comments? The honourable member for Halifax West.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I was interested in my honourable colleague's comments, particularly when he talked about the recession having started in 2009. I think if he were to actually check the history of this, he would find it was the fall of 2008 that the recession actually started, which is, of course, of interest, since if he looks, you can find articles from July the 25th of 2008 by Reuters and CBC talking about the fact that the country was in deficit, that the Conservative government, which inherited a huge surplus, put us in deficit by April of 2008. So that's well before the recession began, even way before, according to his numbers, but it was certainly before the fall of 2008. Now, secondly, he talks about some job creation numbers from July of 2009. If he goes online, he can also find articles from the summer of 2009, even December of 2009, when municipalities were complaining about how slow the government was, the federal government was, to get money out for infrastructure under the stimulus plan, which of course was the budget was announced at the end of January of 2009, but it was the budget for 2009-10. It was the budget for the year that started April the 1st. So that money didn't get started rolling out, it seems, until at least the fall or after that. So how can he claim credit for job numbers in 2009? And what does he think about the $2 billion increase in EI premiums on businesses in this country, on employers?
Member for Etobicoke Centre.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable member for his question, and I thank him for listening very, very carefully. He's correct. I meant to say 2008, not 2009. It's a typo in my speech. And Mr. Speaker, this government, since it took office in 2006, has managed this economy brilliantly. All the major leading institutions in the world will tell you that. We are the greatest nation and greatest economy in the G7 right now. The British, I just read in the paper today, are in fact lowering taxes to their small businesses for just that reason, to encourage job growth and to encourage stimulus in their economy. And when we took over, Mr. Speaker, and the recession hit back in 2008, this government took prudent steps to be able to stimulate the economy, keep people at work, and thus we've ended up in the position we're in today as the greatest nation, the greatest economy in the G7, Mr. Speaker.
Time for one short question and response. Question and commentaire. The honourable member for Durham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And obviously, I'd like to return the kind words to the member from Etobicoke Centre about our veterans. And since he spoke, I was able to look around. The member from Pickering, Scarborough East, Glengarry, Prescott, Russell, Winnipeg North, Westmount, Ville-Marie, and BC Southern Ontario have all served, would share our combined passion for the fact this budget focuses on skilled trades and apprentices, and specifically the Helmets to Hard Hats program, and how these skilled trades can take in our veterans and be targeted on the Building Canada plan. I'd ask the member to speak a little bit about that coordination the government's been doing.
Member for Etobicoke Centre, a short response, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd like to thank my colleague, as he is also a co-founder of the True Patriot Love Foundation, who's now raised over $13 million for veterans, and he's well positioned to ask that question, because the Helmets to Hard Hats program is a vital program for our veterans as a transition out of military service to take up skilled trades in a very needed sector in Canada in terms of the skilled trades. And the program that offers this opportunity will help our veterans not only transition, but to live good, solid, decent economic lives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.